Hello and welcome to the news update on Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. APC National Secretary demands Wike's resignation over interference in party affairs. Kalu faults Governor Otti's criticism, vows to strengthen APC in Abia. Federal government says Tinubu's reforms yielding results, 2026 budget to consolidate gains. APC chairman condemns Niger killings, hails Tinubu's directive to security chiefs. ADC says Trump's Venezuelan action is a warning to Nigeria, criticizes Tinubu's silence. Benue governorship aspirant condemns political violence at chieftaincy events. Wike and APC National Secretary clash over Rivers politics. And now the news in full. The All Progressives Congress, APC, has escalated a political conflict with Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike as the party's National Secretary, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, publicly called for the minister to resign from his cabinet position as alleged interference in the ruling party's internal affairs. Bashiru's demand, issued in Abuja on Monday, 5th January, followed a sharp exchange between the APC leadership and Wike over comments the minister made about Rivers State's politics. Bashiru argued that Wike's interventions are inappropriate and destabilizing, especially since Wike is not a card-carrying member of the APC and therefore lacks the locus to engage in the party's internal matters. According to the National Secretary, his earlier remarks stressing that sitting governors remain party leaders in their states and should be treated as such were misconstrued and provoked unwarranted responses from Wike. Bashiru described the backlash as uncouth and insisted that Wike's conduct is incompatible with his role in the APC-led government. In response, Wike had warned party officials to stay away from Rivers State politics, accusing them of opportunism and hinting at political motivations tied to the state's resources. The minister's comments openly challenged APC leaders and triggered the party's firm rebuttal. Senator Orji Uzor has fired back at the Abia State Governor Alex Otti, rejecting criticism from the governor and pledging to bolster the All Progressives Congress APC in the state ahead of the 2027 general elections. In a strongly worded statement issued on January 5th, 2026, Kalu accused Governor Otti of resorting to personal attacks and political desperation rather than focusing on governance challenges such as healthcare, youth unemployment, and security. He insisted that his commitment to strengthening the APC's presence in Abia is legitimate and rooted in political conviction, not vendetta. Kalu argued that efforts to undermine his loyalty to the party are a distraction from substantive issues facing Abians and a sign of insecurity within Otti's administration. He described the governor's rhetoric as gutter politics that reflects anxiety about the APC's rise in support. The senator reaffirmed his determination to mobilize legal and ethical resources to ensure the APC is well positioned for victory in 2027, both in support of President Bola Tinubu's re-election ambition and in pursuit of a future APC governorship candidate in Abia. Kalu also appealed to Abia voters, asserting that residents are capable of discerning leadership based on policy performance rather than negative political theatrics. The federal government says President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms are beginning to deliver measurable results and that the 2026 budget has been structured to deepen those gains and support broader national recovery efforts. Information and National Orientation Minister Muhammad Idris outlined this perspective in a newspaper opinion piece, underscoring the administration's strategic use of the budget to build on recent policy achievements. According to Idris, the 2026 appropriation bill, themed Budget of Consolidation, Renewed Resilience and Shared Prosperity, is designed to reinforce economic stability and improve living standards across Nigeria. He emphasized that the past 31 months of reform, though challenging, have laid foundations for expanding business activities, improving investor confidence, easing inflation, and strengthening external reserves. The minister highlighted that tangible policy results are emerging, pointing to stronger macroeconomic indicators and expanded social interventions such as student loan programs, NEL Fund, youth employment initiatives, and efforts to combat food security through recapitalized agricultural support. Major infrastructural projects, including the Coastal Highway, Sokoto-Badagry Expressway, and pipeline developments were also referenced as pillars of the government's growth agenda. Idris framed the 2026 budget as a mid-career boost for Tinubu's economic agenda, aimed at transforming broad reform gains into lived improvements for citizens. We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global, we don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue. Professor Nentawe Gushwe Yilwata, National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress (APC), has condemned the recent terrorist attacks in Niger State that left dozens dead and many abducted, and praised President Tinubu's swift directives to security agencies in response to the violence. In a statement issued Monday, January 5th, 2026, Yilwata described the killings and kidnappings in Agwara and Borgu local government areas as gruesome, senseless, and utterly unacceptable, stressing that such atrocities directly affront Nigeria's peace and unity. He expressed sympathy for the victims, the state government led by Governor Umaru Bago, and affected communities. The APC chairman highlighted the president's immediate orders for the Minister of Defense, service chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, and the DSS Director General to track down and apprehend the perpetrators and rescue abducted victims as evidence of decisive leadership under pressure. Yilwada also noted intelligence suggesting that the attackers were fleeing military pressure in neighboring Sokoto and Zamfara. He reaffirmed the party's support for Tinubu's commitment to ending terrorism and banditry, pointing to enhanced coordination, intelligence-led operations, and strengthened security architecture. He urged citizens to assist security forces with credible information and called on community leaders to work with authorities to restore peace and normalcy. The African Democratic Congress the ADC has sharply criticized the federal government's silence following the United States' arrest and prosecution of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, describing the episode as a clear warning to Nigeria and other countries perceived to lack democratic legitimacy. The party said Nigeria's failure to respond to the development is embarrassing and damaging to the country's international standing. In a statement issued by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC reaffirmed its commitment to the principles of national sovereignty and non-interference as outlined in the United Nations Charter, but warned that these doctrines should not be used to shield authoritarianism, electoral fraud, or the systemic denial of citizens' rights. The party pointed to widespread international condemnation of Venezuela's 2024 presidential election as illegitimate and flawed, and argued that the U.S. action has exposed that leaders with disputed mandates can no longer hide behind national borders. It added that popular celebrations inside Venezuela following Maduro's capture reflect a deeper legitimacy concern, and said the episode should serve as a cautionary lesson for Nigeria's leadership. The ADC criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's silence for more than 48 hours after the events, suggesting it reflects a lack of confidence on the part of Nigerian government, a claim ADC says embarrasses the nation and the global stage. A governorship aspirant in Benue State identified as Sebastian Honorable SAN has condemned the outbreak of violence and tension surrounding a disrupted chieftaincy title conferment ceremony in Ugba Logo local government area, stressing that such incidents threaten peaceful political engagement ahead of the 2027 elections. The traditional title event meant to honor Honorable for contributions to social justice was abruptly interrupted when the executive chairman of the local government council, Clement Cav, reportedly arrived with opposition figures in a heated confrontation that led to the event's cancellation. The chairman, citing loyalty to Governor Hyacinth Alia, ordered Honorable to leave and withdrew police support, sparking tensions among attendees and onlookers. Honorable, addressing the crowd, warned addressing the gathered crowd before departing peacefully, said he had no intention of inciting conflict and described the disruption as politically motivated interference in traditional and community affairs. He thanked the Ugondu Traditional Council and local residents for their support, emphasized his commitment to peace, and said he prefers to avoid bloodshed or polarization within the state. The incident underscores growing political sensitivities in Benue, where chieftaincy traditions, governance and election interests often intersect, raising concerns about rising tensions as aspirants position themselves for future contests. And that's all we have on the news update on the Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Thanks for joining us.